everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree Buonomo. Hi if you're new here, or hey if you've been here before. And today we have managed another month and we are now in July. So this is going to be my June wrap up where I talk about the books I read, the things I wrote, and some random personal tidbits of my life that I like to share at the end of the month. So let's just jump into it. All right, so first we're going to talk about the books that I read in the month, and I'm kind of baffled at myself because I really thought I finished way more books than I did, but then I realized I actually only finished one in completion, and I started a whole slew of others. So let me just kind of recap the ones that I've started that you may see come up at the end of some other month. Maybe, hopefully some of them I'll finish in July. But I started The Fever King by Victoria Lee. I started this due to Pride Month, and I don't know, I kind of got really interested in the beginning. I think it was either the end of May or the beginning of June, but I was like, oh my God, I really just want to read this author because I'm really excited for their new book coming out. And I started it and then just didn't finish it. I also started Gideon the Ninth, which was our June buddy read pick. I am in a buddy read year long with two of my friends, so we picked Gideon the Ninth to read in June. I am close to finishing that one. I think on the audio I only have like 3 hours left, and I'm a little bit ashamed that I didn't finish it, but some days I was just not into the book or into listening to it, so I just kind of kept putting that off as well. I also started Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. I'm only about, I think I'm a little less than 100 pages. That one was a relatively newer read towards the end of the month, and I figured I would continue reading that one because I just felt like it was the right time to read it, but I just didn't get to finish it. So those are the 3 books that I really tried to read during the month. I think like I picked up 1 or 2 others, read a chapter and put them down, so I'm not going to count those, but I thought I finished something else. But instead, I only finished 1 book, and that was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. So during the month, I actually was really struggling, and obviously, as I already mentioned, I kind of kept picking books up, and then I would start a book and put it down and pick something else up. So someone kind of was like, oh, I always really like a good mystery or thriller when I'm having a hard time getting into reading. And I completely agreed with that person, and I'm like, you know what, it's been a really long time since I've read a mystery or thriller, and I really like them. And I also remembered that this book in particular follows a camp setting, so I was like, why not? It's the summer, it's a camp story, let's pick it up. And I liked it. This book follows a now 28-year-old main character named Emma, who is a famous painter, up-and-coming painter. She is attending her first gallery where she just has all of these paintings about this woodsy thing where there are glimpses of possible people hidden within her tree forest that she paints. And you find out that she paints these scenes due to what happened to her when she was a 14-year-old attending camp for the first time, Camp Nightingale. So Camp Nightingale is in this New York setting, and there's pretty much, you have to pay a lot of money to get into it, so usually only wealthy families can afford to send their children there, and it's an all-girls camp. So Emma finally gets to go, and she is paired with the senior campers who are 16. She's only 13 or 14 when she attends camp, but it's still her first time, and because she ends up coming late, she's paired with these 3 16-year-old girls who are in their senior year of the camp, and the time, the week that she's there, they end up going missing, and it's very traumatizing for her. So she now kind of paints the girls that went missing in all of her photos as a way of coping, and because of this, she ends up kind of getting the attention of the owner of the camp, who wants to open the camp back up for another year, just kind of reviving it, and asks Emma to come back as an art teacher. So Emma thinks it through and decides, maybe I'll get some closure, and goes. And while there, she ends up camping with 3 new teenage girls who are attending, and there's kind of a lot of mystery and high stakes as far as, what's going to happen, and is something else going to happen at this camp while she's here, and is she going to get the closure? Is she going to find out what happened to the 3 girls that had gone missing when she was at camp when she was younger? So overall, I really like the premise of this book. I will say that this book kept me on the edge of my seat, and I was very invested in it. Again, the mystery thriller genre is a good palate cleanser, especially if it's just a good, enjoyable book. And this was nothing to hit home about, but I was kind of intrigued to see where it was going. I felt that like there were maybe seeds of possibly like it's like a whodunit or something like that, or is it going to be an accident or what have you. Like I was always guessing along the way and I was never actually right, but it definitely was fascinating. The only thing is I ended up giving this about a 3 stars if I'm going to give a rating, just because the ending I felt was like when the big reveal happens, it was a little bit lackluster just because I felt like it was impractical. Because you keep in mind, like she's 13 when this happens and now she's 28 and she's living in modern times. And the way that they describe things, like how the events unfold and how we find out what happens, it just doesn't feel like it would actually happen in real life. Like it just baffles me that like this has been a mystery for 14 years, because I felt like if this was real life, we would have figured it out within a week. So, and maybe that's just my own opinion. And I know I'm being very vague because I don't want to give spoilers, because I know people like the whole point of this is to be like, you know, kept as a mystery. But I just felt like this could have been like solved in an easier way that we didn't need a book for. So like it was kept this way to help the readers and keep them engaged, but that kind of just disappointed me in the end. And I was like, oh, okay, well, now all of these elements that we have just kind of don't matter. So overall, it was still an enjoyable book. I don't know if I'll keep this book, but I might keep it around. I might give it to my mom actually to read, because I think she would enjoy this one. But overall, it was fun. I would probably recommend people to read it. It's just the ending was not my cup of tea for how I would have liked it to be resolved. But I think other people would clearly enjoy this, and it is a good summertime read. And as I said, that's the only book that I actually finished in the month. So hopefully come the end of July, I will be able to recant more books that I've actually gotten through. On that note, I will say, I think part of the reason that I haven't gotten through as much is, and this will tie into my personal life a little bit, but I obviously started school this June. I went back to complete my master's degree so I can get licensure. So I am taking 2 classes, and both classes, pretty much I'm reading like my textbooks front cover to back cover and doing all of my work online. There's no in-person classes right now. So I've been reading my textbooks quite frequently, and there's a lot of pages in textbooks, and textbooks are very dry. So I definitely have been struggling some days where like I'll read my textbook and then I just don't want to read anything else. So I read textbooks, if that counts, but I'm not going to count it for creative reading. So anywho, we'll move on to my writing. So in the month of June, I have stayed relatively creative in writing, and that makes me very happy. So I have been working on my co-written book with my co-writer, Caitlin, and I have definitely taken charge a little bit this month because Caitlin has been dealing with some family things, and I was just kind of like, hey, if I can and I will, I'll just kind of keep us moving ahead. And I did a lot of work of rewriting a couple chapters because, again, if you guys have been here or following our rework process, then you will probably know that we were taking the chunks of one character from a book we previously wrote and combining those with a new story for her. Like her arc is kind of similar, but it's just her and not combining with other characters. So I was actually reworking a lot this month, like some of the old chapters, because we're getting into the heist of the novel, which that's my favorite part. So I was kind of getting that in order. So I think we're up to chapter like 14 or 15, and the chapter that I stopped at, and we both kind of stopped at because we haven't written in a couple days, is going to be a completely new chapter, and then we're going to actually go into the heist, where it's going to be a pretty boom, 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 boom. And the next step for us is going to be getting together and reviewing some of the notes that we had for the overall story arc, because once we get past the heist, it's an entirely new book, so that we are going to end all of these stuff that we've already written and tweaked. So we'll have all new material to get to the end. And we are almost at 50,000 words for this draft. So I feel like we're halfway through the book. It makes sense. We're halfway through the book. We're about 50,000 words. It should, in theory, be about 100,000 when we're done. And I'm just really excited because this is adult fantasy. So it's been slow going, but we're going, and that's been fun. Next, I can talk about my prophecy project, which is my other adult fantasy novel that I am writing by myself. And I have been trying to edit that. I'm not really participating in Camp Nano, which that'll come up at the end of this. I'll talk a little bit more, but I would like to try to finish Prophecy Project's read through by the end of July, and then go through and do my draft 3 in August, hopefully. but I kind of kept pushing off my reading through, and I don't know why. I think because sometimes I think it's going to be a bigger ordeal than it actually is. So I've been putting it off, but I am through chapter 5, I think, so far. And I know if I just sit down and do it, I'm going to get through a lot of chapters because I'm just reading and making notes right now so I can make changes. But I have started that in June. That is officially happening now. I know I kept saying that for months and months, but we're finally doing it. And I think this manuscript, like this novel in general, will be able to start being queried by the end of the year, so long as I keep myself on a good timeline. Because after draft 3, I'm going to get eyes on it, and then depending on the feedback, like if it's in a good place, I'll do another draft maybe, and then like, you know, ship it out. Or if it needs a little bit more work, I might have a draft or 2 more to edit. So we'll see, but that is going to be my goal. By the end of the year, I'm going to be querying this. And then the last creative writing endeavor that I started, and I kind of broke into, is I started doing an RP with 3 of my friends. So if you're not familiar with RPs, they're essentially role-playing where you guys like create a story and then you each take a character and you just go, like you write every person has a turn. So there's 4 of us, so we each go I go every 4th time. And we're just telling a story. And the reason that I ended up starting this is because I was kind of getting in a weird mental spot, which I'll talk about slightly. But I was getting in a weird mental block, and I was kind of like working myself up and feeling like I can't write anymore and that like I'm never going to get anywhere. And it was just bad mental juju. But my friends were telling me that 3 of them had started this RP about like a group of witches who kind of randomly come together to try to solve a problem where magic is no longer working and trying to figure out. And I was like really like interested in their story, and I'm like, this sounds so fun. And I jokingly said, well, you know, now I'm picturing a character who could just bust in and be a time traveler. And they were like, that sounds fun. And then I did. I busted into their RP writing as a character. A new witch that was like a time traveling witch, and that was their main ability, and it was really fun. So we just have been taking that on, and I've been having a really fun time. It's been a really good cleansing palette to just have something that I can quickly write like once a day and just respond, but I'm always writing something, which is such a fun exercise. And I haven't done an RP since I was like a young teen. Like I used to do RPs when I was like 12, 13, 14 and like very new on the internet and like talking with internet people, and like we would just join into groups and chat rooms and like RP together, and it was so much fun. But I haven't done that since I was a young teen. So I feel like it's just kind of like we're coming full circle with how my life is, and it's exactly what I needed this month to kind of get me into a better headspace, both with my writing and with my own self. And I'm just having a lot of fun. Like I do think like there's part of me that just wants to make this into like a book because that's how my brain works, but I'm also like being able to distance it to just say like this is just a fun writing with the 4 of us. And yeah, it's nice to do stuff with friends. So I'm happy that we can do that. So that is all of the writing that I've done this month. And even though it's like minimal in some cases, I'm pushing along and I haven't quit. So I'm very happy. So let me know down below if you guys started anything new for the month of June. And also let me know if you're participating in Camp Nano. So as I already hinted at, I'm not doing Camp Nano officially. I'm not making any like hard goals or like going to push myself because I am going on a bachelorette vacation. And I also have a couple like things that are going on. I have a bridal shower that I am hosting. I have a graduation party, and I have a couple other commitments that are just time consuming that I don't want to say that like, oh, I'm going to try to commit to this and then not be able to do it. And as such, I'm not going to be doing vlogs this month because half the month I'm not even going to be around. So if I do any kind of vlog, it might just be more of like a day in my life or like a random vlog that I decide to do. But I am going to try to still read through my book, my prophecy project, in the month. And if I can finish it, then that's like my Camp Nano goal met. But I'm also not going to be mad at myself if I don't meet it in July. So that's kind of where I'm at with Camp Nano. And lastly, I can talk about a little bit of my personal life, which I don't feel like has been very interesting lately. Most of my interesting stuff has been my writing. So that's kind of like really where I've had my focus on. But what I will say is that obviously I already mentioned too, my classes started. So I am completing my classes for the summer. I have two. They are a career psychology class and a multicultural counseling class. So they're just literally, it's exactly as they sound. One is about how to counsel in a multicultural lens. The other one is how to counsel like adults and older like high school students on choosing careers. And they're kind of enlightening, like, you know, for me too. But I am enjoying them. I kind of like being like a self like starter, like of just working at my own pace, because I did like, my goal was to get ahead so that when I go on vacation, I don't have to worry, and I am ahead already. By the end of the like first full week of July, I should be 3 weeks ahead. And then that'll be good, because then like I can like ease back into everything that I need to do. So overall, classes have been taking a priority essentially, but I have been able to kind of like ease myself and not overwhelm myself. And like I said, I'm ahead. So I'm very proud of that. And I hope that I can keep doing that, because come the fall, I'll be returning to in-person classes, and I do have 3 a week. So, you know, pray for me, give me some positive vibes. I do think they're going to be fine, because the classes that I need, from what I understand, and I do have like a peer mentor in my program, and they kind of told me that like the classes that I needed to take to finish my like degree for licensure are easy ones. So thankfully, I like, as long as I can get through it and I don't psych myself out, I think we're gonna be fine. I will say that earlier in the month, part of the reason why I think I lost some creativity and I lost some motivation to do my reading and everything was because I had suffered very extreme anxiety, like the worst anxiety that I had in several years, to the point where I was questioning everything, and I couldn't even like, I couldn't calm down. The only thing that calmed me down was going to sleep. So I really did like, and it sucks because when you're a therapist, like, you know what to do, but sometimes your body just won't respond to it. So I was doing meditations. I was doing like, people had suggested me some other like YouTube videos that I was watching and trying to participate in. I was drinking tea. I completely cut out like all caffeine for 2 weeks. I was trying to get enough sleep. I was exercising, like you name it, I was doing it. But really like what I needed was just someone, which ended up being my husband, just kind of reminding me that I have support and that like this is going to align with my greater goal. And thank God for him, because I don't know if I feel like I was in that mindset where I'm like, I'm going to be this anxious forever now until I die. So after I got out of that unhealthy mindset, I was kind of able to move forward and enjoy things and like take like pride that I'm like, I made it, I'm able to do this, like I'm grateful for it. So, you know, I'll just share, like, I want to share that because sometimes like you see someone on the internet and it looks like they have their shit together, or it looks like, you know, they're perfectly normal or fine, whatever words you want to use, and it's not always true. So as I already mentioned, I already kind of took a step back from YouTube by only posting a video a week, and that has been really helpful for me. So yeah, so you're probably only going to be seeing 1 video a week from me, unless things get a little bit crazy, and then I may not post a video at all. But I'm kind of liking this new schedule. I've been posting on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. So between 8 and 10 a.m. is when I used to post at 10 a.m. I post at 8 a.m. now. So you can look for videos from me on Tuesdays until it otherwise changes. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the biggest thing that happened in June was just my anxiety got really bad and I kind of withdrew from a lot of things. The other exciting thing, which is a kind of exciting thing, is that I have been a rep for Sweet Melissa's Gifts, etc., which is a kind of boutique for bookish and nerdy jewelry, as well as like bath products and stationery now. She's just doing stationery. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. But every week I post a picture of the products that I get from Melissa, and I just kind of share like what I love about them, and they're always like my nerdy glory. But in June I was asked to be a permanent rep, and that like just made me feel so excited and happy. So I will be posting Sweet Melissa Gifts for a while until I decide maybe if I don't want to do it, or, you know, she looks for more people. But for now, I am a permanent rep, at least for the end of the year. So if you are ever interested in nerdy and book jewelry at a very good price, I definitely think you should go follow Sweet Melissa on Instagram as well as check out her shop, because honestly guys, her jewelry is very cheap and her shipping prices are so reasonable. Like you can get like 10 jewelry items and shipping's like $5 for all of them. So I don't know, as much as I know I'm a rep, but I really love her jewelry. Just to show for reference, I have like this Mother of Dragons charm bracelet and it's so good quality. Like, you guys, get on it. It's so cute. So yeah, that was me nerding out, but that was pretty exciting as well that happened. Well, overall, that's been my June. I feel like I've rambled a lot longer than I thought I was going to, so thank you guys for bearing with me. Let me know down below how your June went. Was it fun, exciting? Was the start of summer welcoming for you, or have you also been dying in heat like I have up in the Northeast? Let me know down below. And if you guys have not checked out any of my last videos, please go do so. I have started posting some more quiet vlogs where like I'm not really talking, but I'm doing action shots. And I just found out that this is actually a thing that people call silent vlogs, which I did not do because of the trend. I just wanted to do them to be artsy and just because it was easy for me to do with my anxiety. But I also am very proud of those vlogs, so if you have not gone and watched them, please go do so. I will leave them in the cards and down below. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye!